let's talk about acne. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching and coming back and joining me. Firstly, I wanted to say I've been on YouTube for only a couple of days, maybe just a little bit over a week. We already have just over 50 subscribers, and I want to say thank you so much to everyone who has subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate everyone and your support, and also welcome to all the new subscribers. Now, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Please also leave me any suggestions or questions that you might have in the comment section so that I'll be able to get to it. And again, thank you so much guys for your support. I really appreciate it. So in today's video, I thought instead of just going straight into product recommendations and product reviews, I thought let me just give you guys a bit of background and context on my skin, my journey with acne, as well as hyperpigmentation, and that might allow you guys sort of get a bit of understanding on how I have arrived at this point. So I have had acne. I've been living with acne for almost 20 years. Next year will be year 20. I am currently 32 and I have had acne since I was 13. Next year I'm turning 33, which I'm very excited about, but it will mark 20 years with living with active acne and of course hyperpigmentation. My earliest memory that I can remember with my acne was when I was around 13 and we were at church. Our church was very strict, so we used to have a common area, not a common area, but an area close to where the toilets were, and all the kids would gather there when we had to have a chance, and then we would go right back into church. So I remember people were giving me advice, and young kids that were my age and a little bit older were giving me advice on, you know, what to do with my skin, like use urine, stop eating chocolates, stop eating dairy, things like that. So that is probably my earliest memory, but I could have had acne prior to that, but that's the earliest that I can actually remember it, and remember it being an issue for me. So that's when my problem started. And then we were still living in Tanzania then. And then during that year, I think, or the following year, we moved back to Cape Town. And at that time, it wasn't really an issue that I would talk about, especially to my family members. But I remember my mom also had acne at that time, and she had that that Clinique box for the soap. She always had that box, so she used the 3-step system from Clinique if she had money, and she used Cuticura when she didn't have money. So I vividly remember my mom having acne when I was around 13, 14, 15. And if I'm not mistaken, she had acne up until she passed. So that's one thing. Anyway, I was about 13, 14. We moved back to Cape Town. And even at that time, it was bothering me, but it wasn't really a big issue, like in the grander scheme of things. The pimples on my face were not really a huge issue. It wasn't up until I got to high school that it really started to bother me. Again, it wasn't really something that I would speak about to my friends, but I knew deep down that it really bothered me. And even then, like, one, my family wasn't really in a great financial position to be able to invest a lot more money in getting me skincare or taking me to consultations. Number two, they just always dismissed it as suka stage, like you'll get over it will go away once you reach a certain age, which I guess is fair, like fairs. And also because my mom had acne as well, I don't think it was something that was a priority for anyone, to be quite honest, because everyone just thought, this stage you'll eventually grow out of it. And that's what I thought at the time. So during high school, I must have been in like grade 10, I think. There was a guy, and I don't know why I remember this, because this person wasn't my friend. He wasn't in my friend group. He wasn't even in my grade. And I remember overhearing him. I think I had seen him in between classes. And he had really, really bad cystic acne. I now know it as cystic acne. And I probably saw him again or recognized him again about a month or 2 or 3 later. And just by chance, his friend was actually asking him, like, how did you get rid of your acne? What did you do? And he's like, no, I just went on the medication. At that time, I didn't know what medication they were talking about. Obviously, they were talking about Accutane, but it wasn't something that I was privy of at that time. So fast forward, I matriculate, I have my gap year, and then during my gap year, I started working, and that's really when I would buy skincare products here and there. And the products I think I was using was like Young Solutions or Clean and Clear. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about, because we used to get a newspaper when I was in high school, which was a long time ago, called Free for All. It was a free newspaper that we would get. I think it was in all the schools in Cape Town, all the high schools. I'm not sure about primary school, and those were the products that they would advertise in Free for All. It was Young Solutions and Clean and Clear, I believe is the name. So those are the products that I started using first. I didn't see or get a lot of results or I personally didn't experience good results with those products. They just didn't work for my acne. Remember, at this time, I don't know what type of acne I have. I don't know what is triggering my breakouts. I don't know how to treat it. I'm not exfoliating. I'm not wearing sunscreen. I was probably drying my skin out more than I needed to be. But anyway, so that didn't work for me. And then fast forward to 2014, that's when I was pregnant with my son. And that's probably the first time in my life where I didn't worry about my skin. I wasn't aware of my skin. I wasn't conscious of my skin. Like, when I was prepping for this video, I was just thinking about a time in my life, like in my past, where I didn't really I wasn't really affected by my skin in terms of my self-esteem. Is when I was pregnant, and I think it's because of the hormones. That's when my skin was the clearest. So yeah, 2014 I was pregnant. 2015 I gave birth, and I remember the first time, I think my son was a couple of weeks old. The first time I could leave the house, I was with my friend Kagiso. We went to the Truets I was still staying in PE. We went to the Truets in Green Acres, right? They had a beauty section where they would sell skincare, perfume, and makeup. And I got the 3-step system from Clinique because that's what my mom used to use when I was younger. So, and I remember my friend Kagiso made a comment, but this is so expensive. And I was like, Sana, because imandi nayo. Okay, so fast forward, sometime after that, I moved to Joburg. And I just want to say the Clinique products did work. I just think I wasn't using them in the way that I was supposed to use them. But I did see results. And at that time, I just didn't have that kind of money to be spending on skincare monthly. I mean, I had a newborn. I had a car, I had rent, so I had other obligations. And yeah, I moved to Joburg, and then I moved to Joburg. Okay, fine. And then this is when, like, my self-esteem, or yeah, self-esteem issues, like, just started to skyrocket. I remember this one time. I think also another thing, I was incredibly stressed when I moved to Joburg, so that contributed to it. I didn't have a routine. I still didn't know what type of acne I had. I still didn't know what was triggering my acne. I was not wearing sunscreen. I was not exfoliate. I wasn't doing anything. I would dry my skin out. I tried using sunlight and drying it out. I used everything under the sun besides urine. I used every single thing that people recommended to me, and things that were in my budget, because at that time my budget was still limited. Okay, so the combination of all of those things, I don't think made for a good environment for my skin. So I remember this one time, I was going to a gin festival in Pretoria East, and my roommate at the time did my makeup, full beat, full face of makeup. And on my way, the only thing I could think of, I was taking selfies. And at that time, we were using Snapchat. But you know how Snapchat is, if you move, the filter would go away. I could see my pimples under the makeup. I had a full face of makeup on, full coverage, and I could still see my pimples. And I remember walking in, because I was a bit late. So I remember walking in with one of my friends, and our group of friends was already seated, and they all turned to look at us as we walked in. And the only thing that I could think of flip, are they looking at my skin? Can they see my acne? Can they see my pimples? And that's really the life that I lived for many, many, many years. It made me very self-conscious. And sometimes I just didn't want to interact with people. So it really, 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 really affected me for a long, long time. And it wasn't even something that I could share with people, because I think sometimes people think that it's something so trivial, like, it's pimples, bro. Get over it. So it's not really something that you're able to share with a lot of people. I was only able to get that community when I started sharing my journey and reviewing products on social media. But for the most part, I really didn't speak about it in my real life. I would just talk about it here and there with friends that I knew would, understand me. So, and then I think when I turned 25, I want to say, yeah, around about that age. I think that's when I realized, I saw stage kaloku 25, ndimdala kaloku. So why am I still having breakouts? And when I tell you I was having breakouts every single month, I was like, no, why am I still having breakouts? This is ridiculous. So that's really when I started taking it really seriously. And the other thing that would frustrate me is that I would get a breakout, I would find something, it would clear some of the acne that I had. As soon as the inflammation went down, I would get a breakout again. For me, it didn't click to me at the time that I would always get breakouts around my period. It just seemed like as soon as I would find something that worked, I would get a breakout again. So it really, 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 really frustrated me. So piling on to my self-esteem issues, it caused a lot of frustration. So fast forward, there was a friend of mine. I was telling her about my issues, and we were always together. And then she said to me, "Why don't you get on a contraceptive?" Now, at this time, I was on a loop, which is a copper loop. I had I had never been on contraceptives before, right? But I got on the loop after I had my son, which I know sort of counterproductive, but another story for another day. So I got on the loop after I had my son, but I'd never been on a hormonal contraceptive. So she was like telling me, no, when I was in varsity, I had issues with acne. I got on the patch. It went away. I said, say less, get here. So I got on the patch. Chef's kiss. Loved it to death. And it really, really, really helped me with my acne. It helped regulate my oil levels. Like, I wasn't as oily. I wasn't breaking out as much. Like, I would still break out around my period, but I wasn't getting 20 pimples at once. I would probably get about 5 or 6, which for me was like, oh my God, it literally changed my life. So I was on the patch, and then round about the same time that I got on the patch, I really started to get into skincare. So a friend of mine went on Accutane, and she was telling me about the side effects. Like, you can't drink, your skin is very sensitive. She was experiencing some redness, everything was just dry, her lips were dry. So she was just complaining about the process. So I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna give this one last shot. I'm gonna give it one last shot. I'm gonna pour my all into this, and if that doesn't work, I'm going on Accutane. Then I can say, I've done everything that I possibly could have done. I'm going on Accutane. I remember, like, one of the first, because I would buy products here and there, but one of the first routines I bought, Michali, if I'm not mistaken, did a YouTube video. I'll see if I can find it. She did a YouTube video specifically on her skincare. And when I tell you that I went to buy every single product in that video, and I remember the Cetaphil sunscreen she was using left a great cast. Sana, and I do not care. As long as I'm getting sorted out, I don't care, great cast or not. And I was traveling from Midrand to Sandton. Okay, goofy. So I got into skincare, and I started to research more and more and more about skincare, and I tried different products, and then I just fell in love with skincare. Luckily, around about that time, maybe about a year or so later, I met a friend of mine, Nolwazi, and she was also really into beauty, more makeup, but we shared a huge passion for skincare. Anyone who has worked with me will tell you, like, we used to be on the phone with each other, and I had a huge monitor at work, and whenever I had a break or things were not nothing was happening, I would be on Cult Beauty, on Sephora, on there was I forgot the name. There was a website in South Africa that was selling The Ordinary stuff, but it was so expensive. Not just The Ordinary, they were selling a lot of the brands that are stocked at Sephora, but they were so expensive. Trust and believe that we were buying something from there every single month until we discovered Cult. So that's sort of what happened. And then around about that time, I again went on a social media break. And then when I came back from that break, I started sharing on my stories my skincare, and that's how I got into reviewing skincare online. And then hair care followed. So during that time, I was able to find out what my what type of acne I have, what grade of acne I have. what triggers my acne, which for me, I have hormonal acne. So it's around the time that I will have my period. So either a week before my period, the week during my period, or a week after my period. Like you can see here, I don't know if you guys can see. This breakout is from yesterday, and normally I get breakouts along the lower regions of my face. So I know that Aunt Flo is on her way because of this. And if you see, the texture of my skin is not as smooth or as refined or as clear as it normally is. And that's also another indicator for me that my period is on its way. So normally this will happen the week before, the week during, or the week after. That's completely normal. And then I learned how to take care of my skin at home. That was the game changer. That was the absolute game changer. How to take care of my skin at home. I learned which cleansers to use, which toners, which moisturizers, which sunscreens would work for me. I learned which serums to use. I learned about retinol. I learned about laser therapy, microneedling. That's how I really fell in love with skincare. Now, just to backtrack a little bit, I was planning to be on the loop for about 2 to 3 years. And then the person that introduced me to the loop, she had some issues and her doctor took her off the loop. Mind you, she had been on the loop for, I think, well over 10 years. I was just over a year. She called me and she said, hey, I'm having some issues. My doctor took me off the loop. I just wanted to let you know. So immediately I was like, deuces. I went off the patch. I then experienced severe hormonal acne. I will find a picture and I'll show you guys. Severe hormonal acne. Again, this is how my skin looked like for the majority of my life. And I actually didn't have a lot of pictures because I hated taking pictures. Anyway, so I went back and I think it was from then that I was like, okay, I didn't panic. I knew exactly what was causing it. And I was like, I know exactly how to treat this. It took me a few weeks, so maybe 2 months, for me to get my skin back to normal, but I was still having really bad breakouts because when you get off a hormonal contraceptive like the patch, your hormones need to learn to re-regulate themselves. So it takes a while for your skin to get back to where it needs to be, even with the correct products and the correct routine. The only thing that you should not forget is consistency, consistency, consistency. It is key. Okay, so fast forward to today. I am in my early, almost mid 30s, and I still have active acne. It's definitely not as bad as it was before. I'm not on a contraceptive now, hormonal or physical or otherwise. And my skincare or my skin is because of the products that I use, period. I have nothing assisting me. It's just the products that I am using and the consistency, period. So that's really how I got to, even to the point of developing my own skincare brand. And it is focused on right now targeting acne and clearing hyperpigmentation. So I will obviously talk to you guys more about that very, very soon. And yeah, I'm very happy with my skin. I'm super, super happy about where it is. I'm happy that I'm able to manage my acne. And that's the one thing. I think there are 3 things to remember when you do have acne, especially as someone who has adult acne. Number 1, you need to understand what is causing your acne. That will be your launching pad to how you are going to treat it, right? Number 2, once you understand what is causing your acne, it will eliminate 50% of the frustration. Because I feel from my own experience, the the problem is 50% frustration and 50% not knowing which product to use, which will then lead back to the frustration. So if you understand what your skin type is, what type of acne you have, and what is causing your acne, it will eliminate 50% of your frustration. And then you need to do your own research, or subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, and follow me on TikTok. I have a lot of information that I've shared around around beginner friendly skincare. I will also be reposting that on YouTube as well. And then the last one is consistency, right? This goes for skin and hair, but even if you can afford to go in treatments regularly, and maybe that will be once or twice a month, nothing beats a home care routine. Nothing beats a home care routine. I swear to you, nothing beats a home care routine. That's where you will make or break your skincare journey. You need to go back to basics, build a routine that will target whatever your skin type is, as well as whatever your skin concerns are. So I think if you've got those three things, buying products shouldn't be an issue. Even if you're swapping brands, you'll know exactly what to look for. And the process itself won't be as frustrating, right? Because now you know you're gonna break out every month because you have hormonal acne, or you know you're gonna break out because you don't wash your hairline thoroughly, or you know you're gonna break out because you sleep with makeup on multiple times, or you know you're gonna break out because you don't wash your pillows as often as you should. You know what I mean? So, or you're stressed out. So it just depends. It really just depends. But once you've got those three things on lock, it's going to be so much easier for you to be able to navigate and buy products and use, and you will definitely see results. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, thank you so much for joining me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.